I'm Max Darrow, and this is The Minute. Oakland has a new mayor-elect, and it's former Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Her priorities include addressing public safety, homelessness, and bridging a $260 million budget gap in the coming years. The elections office is expected to certify the results in the coming weeks. Lee will likely be sworn in by mid-May. The annual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival wraps up today with its grand parade. Japantown will burst to life with floats, performers, and community groups all celebrating 58 years of Japanese culture and tradition. The Golden State Warriors playoff run officially begins today. The game tonight at 6:30 p.m. against the Rockets in Houston. Thrive City will have the game on the big screen for a watch party beginning at 5 p.m. outside Chase Center. The Dubs looking for their 5th championship. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast, weeknights at 8 and 9 p.m. Pix Plus, 44 Cable 12.
It's a chilly start to our morning across the Bay Area, but please dress in layers because warm temperatures are on the way this afternoon. Right now, though, again, we're sitting in the upper 40s to low 50s, so definitely grab your warmer jackets to start off the day. But by the afternoon hours, we are going to be warming up more than we felt yesterday. We'll be seeing those mid to upper 70s, returning to our inland locations and areas around the bay. Closer to our coastal communities, you'll be seeing those 60s and low 70s, but directly along the coast, there is going to be still more of that marine layer holding on tight. That's going to keep those high temperatures along those direct coastal communities sitting in the 50s. So do keep that in mind. If you were planning on heading to the beach tomorrow, I might wait until Monday, because by Monday, the coastal layer, that marine fog, is going to be clearing, and everybody is going to be seeing warmer temperatures from our inland locations that are likely going to be seeing those 80s returning to the forecast, upper 70s for places around the bay, and even those mid 60s returning to the coast. So if you're lucky enough to have Monday off, I highly suggest heading to the coast. It is going to be absolutely lovely out there. But these lovely conditions are going to stick around into early next week as well. So I want to make sure you all remember to put on sunscreen, because this is the time of year that UV index is increasing, with many people spending the day outdoors tomorrow for Easter. Just remember, it only takes about 30 minutes to burn, so put on that sunscreen, grab the sunglasses. It's going to be lovely out there. We're looking at those winds staying really calm as well. You might see a gust up to 25 miles an hour, but overall, really not going to be any sort of issues as we step out over the next several days. We're going to be seeing that foggy conditions to kick off our morning, but again, that fog should be clearing for everywhere besides those coastal communities. A mix of sun and clouds over parts of our inland areas, but overall, sunny skies are going to be the name of the game into tomorrow. A bit of cloud coverage waking up early Monday morning, but again, Monday afternoon, we'll be seeing plenty of sunshine all across the Bay Area, including those coastal communities, before a lot more cloud coverage and that onshore wind returns by Tuesday and into Wednesday, bringing everyone more cloud coverage by the middle to later parts of the upcoming week and cooling down temperatures for everyone as well. But there's basically little to no chances for rain over the next 7 days, maybe a bit of low-hanging cloud coverage and mist. But there is some good news. We are looking at wetter than normal conditions for the last days of April. So we have a ways to go through, about 6 to 10 days until those wetter conditions arrive. So for the next 7 days, likely remaining dry, above average temperature sticking around through Tuesday before a bit of a cool down arrives by Wednesday and into Thursday. You'll definitely notice that cool down and more cloud coverage on Thursday, with those inland areas even getting into the mid 60s, getting back down to below average by the mid to later parts of the upcoming week. Areas around the bay will also be in the low 60s, but again, enjoy today, enjoy Monday, while it is going to be well above average. Monday, again, will be a beautiful beach day. Even Tuesday will be as well, before, again, those cooler conditions settle in by the later parts of this upcoming week.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Barbara Lee wins Oakland's special election for mayor, how the city is reacting, and the work she now has cut out for her. Plus, it's been 119 years since a devastating earthquake shook up San Francisco. But without it, the city may not have had all the beauty that we enjoy today.
When you think about it, nearly everything we love about the Bay Area has been brought to us by the fall.
And how a local company has come up with a new way to drink wine and help our environment at the same time. Thanks for joining us. Let's get right over to meteorologist Zoe Mintz. The people of Oakland have spoken. Barbara Lee will be the city's next mayor. She beat former city council member Lauren Taylor by nearly 5,000 votes. Taylor called the Lee campaign yesterday to officially concede. Our Da Lin was in Oakland to get reaction across the city and learn more about the challenges Oakland faces.
On fire and on a victory tour, Barbara Lee, Oakland's next mayor, rocking shiny shoes and ready to take on big challenges, including a massive budget deficit and public safety concerns.
We intend to hit the ground running.
Mayor-elect Lee says she'll partner with stakeholders across the city to address these issues. And that word, partnership, is exactly why Oakland voter Lucia Moret says she voted for Lee.
We need a leader who can really bring different groups of people together across the city.
The educator, wife, and mom of 3 says the city is divided, even though most residents want the same things. The debate, she says, it's about how to get there.
People really want better schools for their kids, safer city.
Lee says her top priorities are safety and homelessness. But first, she'll have to work with the interim mayor and city council to close a projected $260 million budget gap over the next 2 years. Only then will she know how much funding is available to address those pressing needs.
Meeting with our police chief, meeting with our department heads, our city administrator, really looking at all of the issues, our unsheltered population, how we're going to move forward with economic development.
Lee says she'll release more details in the coming days, but Saturday was about thanking her supporters. She met with families at an Easter celebration at the Arroyo Viejo Park.
Thank you so much, first of all, for making me proud, for trusting me.
Many elected leaders on the council support Lee and say they're ready to work with her.
More partnership and collaboration towards the same goal, like we're all rowing in the same way, if you would.
We have the Congresswoman Barbara Lee is now my mayor of Oakland. Oh my God, look at the chills I have.
Families at the park say they're rooting for her. Moret says Lee's success is Oakland's success.
I believe it's possible that we can really make incredible change in the city of Oakland.
The elections office is expected to certify the results in the next couple of weeks. The former Congresswoman will likely be sworn into office in early to mid-May.
2 other issues decided on the ballot. Charlene Wang took the District 2 City Council seat with about 2/3 of the vote. Voters also overwhelmingly approved a half-cent increase to the city's sales tax, now the highest in California. They hope it will help address Oakland's significant budget shortfall. It's been 119 years since the incredibly destructive 1906 earthquake in San Francisco. But despite all of the destruction as a result, our Brian Hackney is looking at it from a different perspective. He takes us to a coastal section of the San Andreas Fault. And there he found out that if not for the fault, the beauty of the Bay Area that we all know and love may not exist at all.
So, the great 1906 earthquake destroyed the city.
Right now we have a major fire burning in San Francisco.
1989 didn't help.
Serious damage on the Bay Bridge.
But really,
and it just kept coming.
Think of the upside.
There go the lights. Oh.
Of earthquakes.
And it kept coming, and it kept coming, and it kept coming again.
So you're looking at the San Andreas Lake, a long linear valley formed by the San Andreas Fault as it eroded away the crust of the earth here. So which came first, the fault or the lake?
Geophysicist Ross Stein is used to posing academic questions.
So, a couple things I want to just stress to the group.
The Stanford lecturer says making San Andreas Lake
right in on it.
Was a real grind.
Okay, I brought pieces of the crust of the earth here. So here is the Pacific and North American plate. And now what does the fault do? It jams them back and forth like this.
That's what happens in every quake.
And you can see that what I'm doing is creating kind of a powder that's falling on the ground around me. Now multiply that by 1,000,000, and that's why we have these lakes and troughs. This material is weak, and it easily gets reamed out by water. And so the lake owes its existence to the fault.
That's why the San Andreas notched the landscape for some of its 800-mile run, in places sculpting the perfect reservoir site, upside. Problem is, the damn fault keeps going.
So that's fault gouge by example. Is there a place where we can actually see fault gouge in the Bay Area?
Muscle Rock Beach, where the San Andreas crashes offshore.
Yeah? Yeah, so where's Muscle Rock?
It's north of Pacifica, and it's a part of the coast that keeps getting jiggered by successive earthquakes.
This is Muscle Rock. These are the cliffs of Daly City. This is the San Andreas Fault.
This is a cross-section through a fault zone, which is rare. And look at this, foundations for a house that's probably now underwater.
That's because the fault zone ground up this part of the shore, and these neighborhoods are on top of it.
This is the San Andreas Fault where it comes ashore. And what you're seeing is rotten rock. And that's because it was reamed out by the San Andreas.
That's the downside. But back to the upside.
When you think about it, nearly everything we love about the Bay Area has been brought to us by the faults. Tomales Bay, Monterey Bay, even Lake Tahoe.
So there's an upside.
Oh, it's huge. And so we just have to learn to live with their occasional spoils, which befell the Bay Area in 1868, most famously in 1906, and most recently in 1989. Absent the San Andreas and Hayward Faults, there would be no San Francisco Bay, and these coastal ranges bathe us in fog and crown us in redwoods. They are why we're here. We may not know it, but we're here because of the faults.
On Friday, San Francisco held a commemoration for the victims and heroes of the 1906 earthquake. It also served as a moment to recognize dozens of firefighters who were part of the massive response to the LA wildfires earlier this year. Now they're getting the next generation of first responders ready for action. About 50 recruits are learning the ropes at the San Francisco Fire Department's training center on Treasure Island. One of the teachers was deployed to LA in January. He says he tries to teach recruits that it's not about if a disaster will strike, but when.
LA City and County just couldn't keep up with the amount of resources. Even with recalling their off-duty members, all their off-duty members, they still didn't have enough resources to fight that many structure fires at once. LA should be a huge wake-up call to show the emphasis on disaster preparedness and having emergency plans.
Video says he tries to make sure recruits also walk away knowing the connection to their community is just as important. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area on this Sunday. With Trump's tariffs increasing prices around the country, one Bay Area business using this as an opportunity for success. Plus, we'll introduce you to a longtime bookstore owner who now has to turn a new page. How he helped San Mateo's downtown recovery and then ended up getting pushed out himself.
Yeah, a lot of my customers have indicated that they will be following us.
And you may need a sommelier for your wine, but do you need one for your weed? How some are doing what it takes to become an expert in the cannabis industry.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
With the Trump administration's trade war set to dramatically raise prices for goods across the country, some companies are attempting to turn that economic chaos into opportunity, at least while they can. Suji Nam has more on the creative marketing going on right here in the Bay Area.
It's a busy morning at the Mancini Sleep World warehouse in Livermore. Crews are unloading shipments of mattresses from their manufacturers, the majority based in California.
Over 80% of our floor is based on products that are here in the U.S. and manufactured here.
Brett Snyder, the CEO of Mancini Sleep World, a Bay Area-based mattress company for more than 50 years, says their mission is to always have a U.S.-based supply chain.
These come out from Tempur-Pedic, so those are U.S.-based manufacturing.
While the goal is to be U.S.-based, the reality is that raw materials like foam and wires for their products are imported from Asia. With triple-digit tariffs on Chinese goods and a base 10% on goods from other countries, Snyder is having to pivot quickly.
We recognize there was a need to diversify the supply chain and not be anchored just into Asian countries.
Mancini's is not alone in working to figure out the next steps.
At least for the next 60 days, we know we're locked in on price. However, we have gotten notification from a number of different manufacturers of mattresses that as their costs go up, over the next 60 days, there will be an increase in price.
But in the face of volatility, there is also opportunity. The company marketing a tariff-free clearance sale, discounted mattresses, as they had stocked up on more than 5,000 mattresses before the trade war escalated.
Product that we've brought in, it's part of why we're offering right now the tariff-free promotion that's going on, because we've brought in so much inventory in advance to be prepared, knowing that there were some of these changes.
This response from business leaders is something Cal State East Bay's economics associate professor, Christian Rossler, says is a newer reality.
There's a question whether suppliers are going to reduce their prices in order to lower the impact on the retailers.
Rossler adds that with economic uncertainty comes potential repercussions in long-standing businesses.
To some extent, it's going to be a reduction in profit margins for the businesses, and we're not going to see the whole impact of the tariffs. Now, prices will be going up. There's repercussions in the economy. It might also affect wages.
In the meantime, like CEOs across the country and around the world,
when you take a look at a floor like this, and even the beds we're on here, these are made in the Bay Area. These are made in Richmond.
Snyder is trying to keep costs low while remaining profitable, even in these unpredictable times.
While San Francisco still has a ways to go with its downtown recovery plan, San Mateo has already bounced back in a big way. One local bookstore owner played a key role in that downtown recovery, but now he's being priced out by the success. Here's my story on the owner of B Street Books and his Plan B. In business for 16 years in San Mateo, there are many chapters of B Street Books' story. And in the one currently being written, there's a lot to unpack and a lot for Lewis Cohen to pack up.
Well, we have 40,000 books to pack up.
He's made the tough decision to leave downtown San Mateo, not for a lack of business, but rather the surrounding business boom.
It's tough.
He says the building changed hands before the end of his lease. He's been month to month ever since, and the landlord upped his rent.
Like triple what we're paying. It's just not in the cards. I really like the store, but I wasn't going to go bankrupt to try and pay the landlord.
But there's a tricky plot twist to this story. Cohen has been an active business leader in downtown San Mateo's post-pandemic revitalization efforts.
It is ironic that we've been a part of making things better and bringing things back after COVID, and now we're having to move because we can't afford the rent.
It's tough for Mackenzie Jacobic, the executive director of the Downtown San Mateo Association, to see B Street Books say goodbye.
I mean, mostly sadness. It's going to be missed quite a bit, and Lou himself will be very missed.
That said, she says the downtown landscape is changing.
There's nostalgia here, but there's also progress.
The city saw the completion of one major development in the last few years, and several more are currently in the works. And within the last week or so, she says multiple new restaurants and retail spaces opened up.
We don't have a ton of vacancies. I asked the city the other day, and they said we have about 3%. Any other buildings you see that are empty are due for redevelopment.
The story doesn't end here for B Street Books. Cohen says he's relocating the shop to Burlingame.
Yeah, a lot of my customers have indicated that they will be following us.
He was able to get a deal for a long-term lease at a rate that worked for everyone involved.
I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to do well there.
Gina McNutt, Cohen's co-author to this chapter, is eager to help write the next one.
It's exciting. There's obviously a lot to be doing in the next couple weeks.
While some people in his position could have seen this as the end of the story, Cohen wasn't ready to call it the final chapter.
It is a labor of love.
So for now, he'll close this one with "To be continued." B Street Books is closing its doors in San Mateo for the final time tomorrow. The new Burlingame location is on Burlingame Avenue, right off of El Camino Real, set to open early next month. Still ahead, there is a budding industry that more people seem to be turning to these days. Inside the growth of ganjiers and how they're helping people raise the bar on their high.
Increasingly, people are realizing that cannabis is a safer and healthier alternative.
Today is Easter Sunday, but it is also another holiday for some. We're talking about 420, and a new industry is taking off, the cannabis connoisseur. Itai Hod introduces us to a tasting experience unlike any other.
This isn't a wine bar, and it's not a cocktail lounge either.
Ladies?
But what's happening here will still go straight to your head.
We're gonna start with sample number 1.
It's a tasting in the back of a dispensary in Oakland.
Welcome.
Led by a certified ganjier,
This is the blueberry cupcake.
the sommelier of the cannabis world.
How do you go through and help them understand what the right product is for their needs? That's ultimately what we're here to do.
Jocelyn Sheltra is one of just 350 certified ganjiers in the world and the co-founder of Buddhist, a kind of Yelp for cannabis. She says today's consumers don't want to just get high. They want to know how it'll hit and why.
Oh my God. I'm getting lemon, I'm getting lime, I'm getting a woodiness, I'm getting a little bit of a baby diaper.
That's not potty talk.
The nose knows.
It's actual certified terminology. And it's not just ganjiers who are raising the bar. Jamie Evans is a trained sommelier who traded grapes for grass. Now, she's a cannabis mixologist.
Do you have to be as snooty as when you're a sommelier?
I would say that in the cannabis space, it's a very welcoming space. And
So not as snooty.
It may be a budding industry, but the global legal cannabis market is projected to grow to $57 billion by 2028.
Increasingly, people are realizing that cannabis is a safer and healthier alternative.
Max Simon is the CEO of Ganjier, the world's first and only official certification program for cannabis guides.
How difficult is this program?
It's very rigorous. It covers about 40 hours of online training, a 2-day in-person assessment training, and then a 3-part exam that you have to pass with pretty meticulous criteria to become certified.
For Sheltra, it's about changing the conversation without getting too much into the weeds.
This is very, very new, and it's gonna take a village.
That and a little dose of higher education.
We're waiting for that all day.
Still ahead in our next half hour on CBS News Bay Area. They found themselves the subjects of executive orders at odds with the most powerful man in the world. Talk to a veteran civil rights attorney who's been very critical of his fellow attorneys. Plus, a 911 dispatcher saves lives with her calm and quick thinking.
Every second counts, so we have to make sure that we're ready to send the information on at the split second.
How her department is now investing in those who help us at some of the worst moments in our lives. I'm Max Darrow, and this is The Minute. The Bay Area is celebrating Easter today. Glide Memorial Church honoring Reverend Cecil Williams with a special tribute, hosting a full day of services as well. They're also offering a community meal to anyone in need. In Marin County, a crash killed 4 students from Archie Williams High School and left 2 others critically injured. It happened on San Geronimo Valley Road. The community gathered for a vigil last night to remember the victims and stand with their families. The Warriors playoff run officially begins today. The game tonight is at 6:30 p.m. against the Houston Rockets. Thrive City will have the game on the big screen for a watch party. That starts at 5 p.m. outside Chase Center. On the road tonight, the Dubs looking for their 5th championship. The Bay Area's only primetime newscasts, weeknights at 8 and 9 p.m. on Pix Plus, 44 Cable 12. Bay Area lawyers sounding the alarm after President Trump zeroes in on a new target, big law firms that have supposedly wronged him or his causes in the past. He recently signed executive orders to punish certain private firms threatening to strip away their access to government buildings. To stay on the president's good side, 9 major law firms, including some with offices here in the Bay Area, have struck deals agreeing to provide hundreds of millions of dollars in free legal work to the administration for causes that the president supports. But some in the law community call this move dangerous, even a threat to democracy. As Lauren Toms shows us, a retired civil rights lawyer is among those fighting back.
Getting lots of thumbs up, and a lot of people will glance and look away, and I go, what are you afraid of?
Kerry Goff isn't afraid of stirring up conversation as he quietly protests law firms that have cut deals with the Trump administration to avoid sanctions.
They've sold out democracy. They've sold out their oath of office to defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States.
A retired civil rights attorney of 42 years, Kerry says he feels an obligation to speak out against the big law firms that have agreed to provide pro bono work on causes that align with the White House agenda in order to avoid federal penalties. He also says he has empathy for the employees of those firms who may be at odds with the decision.
They've betrayed the Constitution, they've betrayed democracy, but they've also betrayed these associates who've taken these jobs.
On any given day, Kerry changes his sign to call out the firm he's protesting.
And thank you for doing this. Yeah, thank you.
One local law firm has been outspoken, backing those firms that have been hit with sanctions.
We all thought this was really alarming. Clearly, retribution against people who had differing views or were representing clients with differing views.
Bob Van Nest, partner at Kecker Van Nest and Peters law firm, was among the first of nearly 500 firms to publicly back those targeted by the White House. It's a move that could put his firm squarely against the president. He says he's not worried about the consequences, but is concerned about the implications of the executive orders on firms that represent the president's political opponents.
And these letters were directly intended by the Trump administration to curtail that and to basically intimidate, to cow lawyers into staying away from that kind of work.
UC law professor Matthew Cole says the agreements between the Trump administration and law firms are legal.
Is the substance of the agreement, which the law firms say, well, we'll do pro bono work for the federal government and we'll make some changes to what our hiring practices are. There's no reason why the law firms can't agree to that.
But that the executive orders issued by President Trump are unconstitutional.
There's just no colorable claim I can think of that there's anything in the Constitution or a law passed by Congress that authorizes this. So it's just it's lawless out of the box. No authority to do it.
For Kerry and his one-man protest, he says the least he can do is speak out.
They take that oath. They're not defending it. They betrayed it.
An oath Kerry still holds dear in his beliefs on the rule of law.
We've reached out to one of the law firms that reached deals with the White House, Paul Weiss, for comment, but have not heard back yet. President Trump suggested this week that the cooperating law firms could be called on to work on negotiating trade deals, among other things. The exact scope of the work is still unknown. Honoring those who help us in some of the worst moments of our lives. This week is National Dispatcher Week. It's a way to celebrate the people who answer the phone when you call 911. During the last fiscal year, San Francisco's dispatch center handled roughly 1.2 million police, fire, and medical calls. That's more than 3,200 calls per day. It's an incredibly high-stress job where every second really does matter. So that's why the Department of Emergency Management created a new wellness center for dispatchers. The city's Dispatcher of the Year told our Suji Nam she's grateful for this investment.
San Francisco 911, exact location of the emergency.
Calm. It's important to stay calm.
I'm sending help. Just stay on the line with me.
That's what Kathy Osorio tells herself every time she picks up a 911 call.
Every second counts, so we have to make sure that we're ready to send the information on at the split second.
Kathy has been a dispatcher for the city and county of San Francisco for 20 years.
San Francisco 911.
Each phone ring, each dispatch can be stressful and chaotic.
When you're taking emergency calls or traffic back to back to back to back, it takes a toll on you.
And that is why Kathy says she is grateful the San Francisco Department of Emergency Management opened a brand new wellness room downstairs. Kathy and her colleagues can now stop by what used to be a multi-purpose room and relax during their breaks, prioritizing their mental health.
I like to come here and just sit down and just rock the worries away.
The wellness room launched last month. with things like massage chairs, a couch, and books for their more than 120 employees. Janet Atchin-Fallings is the Assistant Deputy Director of the city's Department of Emergency Management.
We have personal lights. We did a survey prior to constructing the room, and so we based some of the things that we have in here based on some of the feedback that we received.
Atchin-Fallings says it's important to prioritize the mental health of their staff who go through life or death situations call after call.
We wanted to provide a space that in between that they have a place that they could come and just kind of woo-saw and just get all of that off of them.
And that's what Kathy plans to do.
Generally, I would just go to my car to sleep or get some quiet time, but here I'm allowed to spread out a little more.
It's more than just some furniture in a room. Kathy knows that she and her teammates are taken care of.
We want to get the help out there for you, but sometimes we need help too. So now we have a room where we can go decompress and help relieve that stress away from us.
Kathy says she is grateful to help save the lives of San Franciscans every day and is looking forward to continue serving her community for many years to come.
Honoring those who help us in some of the worst moments of our lives. This week is National Dispatcher Week. It's a way to celebrate the people who answer the phone when you call 911. During the last fiscal year, San Francisco's dispatch center handled roughly 1.2 million police, fire, and medical calls. That's more than 3,200 calls per day. It's an incredibly high-stress job where every second really does matter. So that's why the Department of Emergency Management created a new wellness center for dispatchers. The city's Dispatcher of the Year told our Suji Nam she's grateful for this investment.
San Francisco 911, exact location of the emergency.
Calm. It's important to stay calm.
I'm sending help. Just stay on the line with me.
That's what Kathy Osorio tells herself every time she picks up a 911 call.
Every second counts, so we have to make sure that we're ready to send the information on at the split second.
Kathy has been a dispatcher for the city and county of San Francisco for 20 years.
San Francisco 911.
Each phone ring, each dispatch, can be stressful and chaotic.
When you're taking emergency calls or traffic back to back to back to back, it takes a toll on you.
And that is why Kathy says she is grateful the San Francisco Department of Emergency Management opened a brand new wellness room downstairs. Kathy and her colleagues can now stop by what used to be a multi-purpose room and relax during their breaks, prioritizing their mental health.
I like to come here and just sit down and just rock the worries away.
The wellness room launched last month with things like massage chairs, a couch, and books for their more than 120 employees. Janet Atchin-Fallings is the Assistant Deputy Director of the city's Department of Emergency Management.
We have personal lights. We did a survey prior to constructing the room, and so we based some of the things that we have in here based on some of the feedback that we received.
Atchin-Fallings says it's important to prioritize the mental health of their staff who go through life or death situations call after call.
We wanted to provide a space that in between that they have a place that they could come and just kind of woo-saw and just get all of that off of them.
And that's what Kathy plans to do.
Generally, I would just go to my car to sleep or get some quiet time, but here I'm allowed to spread out a little more.
It's more than just some furniture in a room. Kathy knows that she and her teammates are taken care of.
We want to get the help out there for you, but sometimes we need help too. So now we have a room where we can go decompress and help relieve that stress away from us.
Kathy says she is grateful to help save the lives of San Franciscans every day and is looking forward to continue serving her community for many years to come.
Coming up next, out with the glass, in with the cardboard. We'll take you inside a California wine company using a revolutionary green technique to bottle their wine. Plus,
how a piano teacher has spread her passion for music through a 33-year-old competition. How she's inspired generations of musicians.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
More consumers are embracing and choosing sustainable packaging, and that's especially true for baby boomers, millennials, and those who are Gen Zers. But now new wine bottles made out of recycled paper are getting added to store shelves. As Ann Makovic reports, in the U.S., they're made in our own backyard.
With great soil and a cool climate, Monterey County is the perfect place to grow wine grapes. Here, hundreds of vineyards use environmentally friendly methods to produce exceptional vintages.
Bonnie Doon's always been a pioneer, really pushing the boundaries of sustainability and farming practices, whether that's organic, biodynamic.
Sustainability has been one of our core values since our family founded this business in 1972. We've always just believed very heavily that you need to treat your vineyards well, your land well.
Now winemakers have a greener way to package their wine. This device created in the UK is called a frugal pack. It creates wine bottles out of recycled paper.
We describe them as a wonderful sustainable option in the wine packaging world.
Shannon Valadares is with the Monterey Wine Company. It is the only place in the United States with a frugal pack.
The response has been excellent. I think the retailers have really stood behind this concept and said, this is what we want.
Making and transporting glass wine bottles requires a lot of fossil fuel, which creates a lot of carbon.
When you think about the weight of traditional wine bottles and that glass and what goes into making the glass, blowing the glass, transporting that glass, there's a huge carbon footprint there.
I mean, we sell to 30 countries internationally, and so having a lighter weight bottle and one that has less environmental impact is really great from start to finish.
The process starts with flat cardboard covered in art.
The wonderful thing about this bottle is the entire canvas is your label.
A plastic insert will hold the wine. The device then pinches, folds, and molds the paper into a bottle. The contraption can make up to 500 bottles an hour.
We feed the line.
Those bottles are then filled with wine and packed in boxes.
This is half the weight of a product that is made with glass.
For the winemakers, they are raising a glass.
Boy, this is awesome. I really hope that customers in the stores, that they get it, because it's kind of different.
And it's a start. It's something that we I think collectively have to be thinking about. How can we make an impact that's better for our planet?
You can now find these wines at places like Target and Whole Foods, uncorking the future of wine right here in Monterey.
Last year, King Charles honored Frugal Pack with the most prestigious business award in the United Kingdom. The company was given the King's Award for Enterprise, in this case for the innovation in sustainable packaging. Coming up, we will meet a Bay Area woman who was the driving force behind an international music competition, as she's working to instill a love for the arts in students from all backgrounds. An East Bay woman has inspired a love of music for more than 3 decades with a competition that's drawn students from all around the world. LeMay Liu says young music students can improve their skills by entering competitions. But when she discovered some were too exclusive, she decided to do something that struck a chord. Sharon Chin introduces us to this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award winner.
For 83-year-old LeMay Liu, the piano is a place of creativity and expression.
Especially when you are alone, sad, you sit on the piano, or you pour your heart out, and that just took care of everything.
But in 70 years of teaching piano, she found motivating young students can be challenging.
The students who do classical music, they don't want to do too much. I'm tired of this piece, I can't do it. But if they're going for a competition, then it's completely different.
And when LeMay tried to enter students in competitions years ago, she encountered some unexpected dissonance.
Usually there are so many restrictions, so the students do not get anything out of it, like the teacher can only send in 3 students.
So she helped launch the U.S. Open Music Competition in 1992 to open access to more young musicians.
We had 400 the first year, without any advertisement.
Today, LeMay organizes the annual President's Day Weekend Contest. It draws more than 2,700 students a year from all over the Bay Area and world to a large church in the Oakland Hills. Top winners get a medal and scholarship ranging from $50 to $300 a prize, plus a chance to perform in a special concert. LeMay says participants fine-tune skills and expand their classical repertoire.
We actually had 35 adjudications, didn't we?
Jonathan Chow says competing years ago taught him how to perform under pressure. In addition, as his piano teacher, LeMay nurtured his talent as a composer. So he's even written music for the competition's sight reading category.
She certainly shaped me as a musician, a composer. She's really passed on her love and passion for piano and music to generations of students.
Some past competitors have gone on to music careers and returned to adjudicate the contest, like Fanti Jones, who teaches at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, and shares what she's learned.
If you win, great, your life moves on. If you lose, your life also moves on. This is a very valuable lesson that's not only in music.
And seeing the scale of the competition's impact brings LeMay joy beyond measure.
I see that they grow to become mature musicians or human beings.
So for inspiring thousands of students to pour their hearts into music through the U.S. Open Music Competition, this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award goes to LeMay Liu.
The U.S. Open Music Competition has a $100 entry fee that can be offset by working to help the program run smoothly. The fees and donations help fund the $30,000 in scholarships awarded this year to winners. LeMay, who's been president of the competition for 11 years, is training Fanti to take over organizing duties, by the way. Don't forget you can nominate someone for a CBS News Bay Area Icon Award at kpix.com/icon. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Max Darrow. We'll be right back with your First Alert forecast and today's top stories.